gonna like this. I think y'all will be like 50-50 for a certain reason, which you'll see when we unbox it, which I have been waiting to unbox it. I'm trying to hit a certain note. One of my biggest inspirations is Jesse Streeter. His car, and then from a car from the Osaka Toge video, and then also another clip I'll throw in right now. You guys just watch all three of these, and this is a note that I'm trying to pull out of the SR. The car is way too loud. Like I had to do something about it, so I'm gonna unbox the HKS exhaust. Right now there's no ISR in the car except for one middle section, and this should replace it. This is a cat back exhaust from HKS. It's their Racing Exhaust. Just get it out the box so you guys can see what it looks like. Yes, let's go. Came with hardware. This muffler is fat. God dang! Car's a missile, but I don't want to just put the exhaust on the ground. Let's take some of this foam out and lay this down so the exhaust has somewhere to go. Dude, the freaking muffler on this thing is freaking-normous. God dang, I don't want it to be too quiet. I want it to be quieter, but I don't want it to be like too quiet. I think it'll still be loud enough for me to enjoy. I'm really excited for this. Here's something you guys might not get. So this tip, right? Now, I hesitated on buying this. I've really never been a fan of burn tip exhaust. Number two, this has a slight slant to it. I also didn't like that either. I would like for it to be completely flat. But you can remove the blue tip and just have a regular stainless steel tip that is flat and doesn't have the burnt tip on it. And the one underneath this burnt tip, which is just kind of an accessory, says HKS on it, so it doesn't look bad or off or anything. All right, so the silencer is in there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There we go. It's kind of like slightly a pet peeve, but I've noticed some of these exhausts, when you mount them on the car, they don't protrude out the rear end far enough for it to look good. And it kind of sits tucked under your aftermarket rear bumper. Never really liked that. I never really liked that flush look. Like it needs to stick out just the tiniest bit. It's like wheels. Like you don't want your wheels to be sunken in because that just looks weird. The reason we have it cutting off at the axle is because the old ISR exhaust didn't fit. Because this has the rear section and the mid section, I'm gonna try to replace all of it and hope that it fits. If it doesn't fit, I'll be a little bit disappointed because I want to drive today. And also that means I have to have my welder fab something up for me to make this fit. Let's look at this midsection. It looks like the midsection is shorter than the ISR, but then obviously the rear section looks longer than the ISR, so I don't know if overall it's going to be really long at the same length or what, but I'm just hoping. At the end of the day, I can get this thing on with no issues and it fits and bolts up pretty easy. Dude, there's no space. There's no freaking space, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna get up under here. Oh God, and the car is filthy from the last session. This shouldn't be too bad. So what you guys are looking at, that's where the exhaust ends, and that's right behind this wheel right here. This is the midsection. This is the only piece of the car that's ISR. This shouldn't be too hard. 2 bolts here. We have all the hardware we need. We don't even have to reuse anything. We could just ditch everything we take off. After I pull out this midsection, I want to line it up next to the HKS exhaust, which is over there, and see if the HKS exhaust is shorter. Because if it is shorter by a little bit, I think it'll fit good. If it's the same or longer, we might have some issues and might have to do some custom fab work. So, knock on wood. I'm going to pull this off. I'll see you guys in 2 seconds. Check it out, check it out, check it out. ISR exhaust fully out. It's looking good so far. It's looking promising. I matched everything up, basically matched up the hangers. Follow it, and That looks like just enough of a difference for the HKS exhaust to fit on and bolt up with no issues. We're gonna see, you never know. I'm gonna install the HKS exhaust with the new hardware, new gaskets that are over there on the trunk, and I'll see you guys in another 2 seconds. This shouldn't be too hard. I could film under the car. It's a little bit hard to just have you guys under there and get the good angles and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna throw this on without filming, and I'll see you guys in like 2 seconds. Officially, ISR off the car, HKS on. I'm not gonna show you because I haven't looked at it yet. The only high quality part, like exhaust wise, was the manifold. Now I have every exhaust piece is pretty much high quality name brand, so I feel good about that. I'm gonna jack this thing up, take these stands out, drop it back down. We're gonna see how it looks. It's dark, unfortunately, but we're still gonna do our test drive to see how the muffler sounds and stuff, and it should go good. I'm ready. I know y'all are ready. Let's drop this car down and see how the tip looks. Am I keeping the blue or am I getting rid of the blue? I don't know. We'll see. Car's down. I'm gonna check how the exhaust looks. I haven't looked at it, actually looked at it. I've just been ignoring it as best I can. So let's see. Ooh, okay. First off, it sticks out the perfect amount. That is such a good amount for it to stick out. I am so happy with how that looks. The real question is, am I gonna keep the blue or am I gonna get rid of it? I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like the blue. I just don't know if I'll keep it. So many eBay and knockoff exhausts use this kind of blue tip, and it's come to the point now where it just doesn't look as good because of the overuse of it in like eBay exhaust. And to me, the blue tip makes the exhaust look a little bit cheap. There is one thing underneath, kind of like the frame of the car, it's like under there. I'll have to shave it down a bit because it's not touching, but it almost is touching, and I know that's gonna cause insane rattle. Also, look at this horrible cutting job I did to fit those 8-inch total blast pipes that I had on here. This would look much better if it was the stock aftermarket Origin Lab rear bumper, but because I have these jagged trash cuts, it doesn't look as good. It is what it is, guys. But I'm gonna take off this blue tip, do that real fast and see how it looks, because I personally think I like the stainless steel more. This just looks, in my opinion, kind of cheap. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I want to hear your opinions as well. I like the stainless steel tip instead of the blue tip. Still comes out without the blue tip on. You got the actual logo. You can see, because with the blue tip on, you can't see the logo. Flush cut instead of slanted like the blue tip has. And just overall, it just looks so solid and proper now. I really like this. We're gonna start this thing, get a cold start for it so you guys can see how it sounds with the cold start, and then we'll do some driving on the street. We at the wah. Got direct up front. About to head to our favorite area, our favorite home track to practice. See you soon. Oi! Hello. Oi! Vaca!
Mine's hesitating, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Gives.
Is it smoking? Because every time I try to get on power, it just feels like I have nothing. It feels like Sebring again.
You got a good run.
It was alright. The turbo really is like, you can see that it's like just like not giving me power. Like it's struggling to break loose. It kind of sucks.
That's so weird.
I really think it's I don't know.
Have you checked the shaft play?
Yeah, it had a little bit. So, the weird thing is, like, it pulls fine on the street.
Is that a brand new turbo?
No.
Oh, it's used?
Yeah.
You should have bought a new one.
Anyway, if y'all want to hop in, we can drive back.
Wait, can I drive it back to the spot? I just want to see if I can feel it.
Alright, are we all riding back? Turbo feels really, really bad right now. This possibly means we'll have to replace it, but something's not right with the car. Just like no power at all. Just a lot of stuttering. Just on that last run, I couldn't even give it gas. It just kept cutting the timing hard. First off, the exhaust, I really, really like it. I love the way it sounds. It's much, much quieter, way quieter, but it still has a note. So when I get up there in the RPMs, you can still get a loud note from the car. I like the exhaust. It makes it so much easier to street the car, which is a plus for me. And also, it doesn't throw me off as much. You know, I can focus more on what I'm hearing from the car, and I can just kind of focus more on what's actually happening. I can hear what's happening a little bit better because it's not just ear-deafening, loud, straight pipe noise from the engine. So I like that. However, the car drove horrible again tonight. It did. The roads, the conditions, it was not kind of damp. It was damp outside. I guess it had just rained, so the roads were already wet. I already have like no tread on the back tires, 25 psi. I left the same setup from the last time. Since it was wet, I didn't air up. If it was dry, I would have aired up. Because it was wet, I just left them. The turbo, I don't know if it's the turbo for sure yet, but something is causing the car to just hesitate. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen. This is what it feels like to drive. That's how it feels. The car feels very heavy and very slow and sluggish, and it does not feel how it did before, which can be a little bit disappointing, but I just need to dial in the car and get it back to how it was before. Not exactly, it'll be different, but somewhat similar to how it was set up before. I also did one clutch dump off first gear, kind of starting, and the trans shook a lot. So if you guys know how to minimize the shaking of the transmission when you're clutch kicking, please let me know, because it was like, I almost stopped. It was so bad. On top of that, there was one moment where I just started kind of trying to do a donut with the car, and you can see that the car, this is first gear. I'm gonna put the clip in here. See how I'm just like, it just doesn't want to go. I have no tread. The roads are wet. In first gear, a little bit of gas, it should be kicking the back end out real easy, and it was just struggling. it was just struggling. It just felt horrible. You know exactly what it felt like, guys? It felt like the Sebring event, where I was just like, it felt like the turbo just wasn't there. I don't know. I am gonna start saving up so I can buy a new turbo to replace the one in the car, because I do feel like that's what the issue is. I also noticed on the way back home, it wasn't doing the hesitation anymore. It was going into boost pretty okay, but then I noticed we were very, very lean while in boost while pulling. So I'm getting like 15, 16 AFR starting off the pull, which is extremely way too lean. Don't know if it's a boost leak. I don't know what's happening, but way too lean. And then getting higher up in the RPMs as I start to push it, it starts to go rich a little bit, but it's at 14.5, which is the perfect AFR if you're idling, and that's about it. If you're slowly cruising, you do want like 15 AFR, that'll save you gas, but the second you get on it, it should be dropping down to around 11 or 10, nowhere near there, so the car is running lean. There are just issues that I need to figure out. The car doesn't feel very good, so it looks like we're gonna have to dive back into the motor and get some stuff figured out and changed around. But overall, I like the way the exhaust sounds. With each session that we have, I'm learning more about the car, finding more spots that need to be fixed and worked on. The car is humbling me, and I feel like I'm having to start almost from zero again and really focus on my driving, which is good for me because it's like a reset. Having to adjust to this new setup is gonna increase my skill level a decent amount, and I just enjoy learning, and I'm always down to learn technique and practice new techniques and understand more. So having this new setup and it kind of giving me a hard time and me having to kind of relearn the car is pretty exciting. We're gonna go to bed. Me and Luna are going to sleep, and I'll see you guys.
Niggas got the crown. Niggas got the crown. OGs, they respect us.